Welcome to #Finance Master. Kick back, relax, and enjoy this week's show.
Welcome to another episode of the Finance Master Show. Today is a episode truly in the spirit of the show because we will talk trends in finance and accounting for 2025. I also have a guest for you today, but before we get introduced to Victor, just briefly introducing or refreshing the rules of the show. We are recording it to be released as a podcast. Search for Finance Master on all your favorite podcast channels, and you can find the show there. We're also recording the video to be released on the Finance Master YouTube channel. You can even stream it live there as well. You can stream it live on my LinkedIn profile or on the Finance Master LinkedIn profile. So lots of opportunities to participate in the show here. If you have comments or questions, you can put them in the feed, and we'll be sure to highlight them up here on stage and answer them as possible. And as usual, we do want to know where you are tuning in from. So give a hi, give a hello, let us know where you're from. Just do that all in the comments, and I can see already Zainab Mohammed had said hi. So hi to you as well. But as said, we have a guest today, so let's bring Victor up on stage so Victor can introduce himself as well. Hello, Victor. Good to have you here.
Hi, Anders. Thanks for the invitation. Happy to be here. Yes, maybe just a few words to me and my company. So my team and me, we are helping companies in transforming their finance organization to bring them to a higher level. And we are also bringing finance knowledge overall in the finance organization. And we do it with, I think with a quite important change management approach to take the people within this change, this transformation.
Thanks a lot, Victor. And so Victor and I connected earlier this year, and we quickly found out that we're actually pretty much doing the same things with a similar purpose. So we've been talking quite intensely to see how we can help each other further that mission, and of course, creating content together here is just one of those ways as well. So it's going to be great to have you on today's show, Victor. Thanks a lot for spending your time on that.
Thanks a lot, Anders.
Just checking a little bit more with the audience. I can see all hellos are starting to come in here. We have Aubrey. Hello, everyone. Felix from Kenya. Felix is one of the usual guests on the show, as far as I remember. Then we have Yen from Malaysia, someone from Canada, Shantano. Welcome as well. We also have Andrea from Florida, Uluchukwu from Nigeria, Bakar from Sierra Leone, and then Otmane from Germany as well. So a fellow German for Victor here. And also Adeola from Nigeria. So as usual, we are present from all over the world, from Florida to Malaysia. Isn't that amazing? So we will hear a lot of Victor's insights today, but as usual, I'll just tee it up a little bit with the blog post from this morning that we released the European time. You can always find the blog post as well on the Finance Master LinkedIn page there as well. So as said, we'll talk about top trends in finance and accounting for 2025. We will probably talk about many different trends, and it can be difficult to separate them, but we at least will give it a try. And that's because a new year is fast approaching, so it's time to look at the trends we expect to discuss for next year. For finance and accounting, it'll be interesting to see how AI will continue to reshape how we work and how humans can leverage this to our advantage and elevate ourselves into new roles. Just these past 2 weeks, actually, even just today, I've given talks around how to use AI today and how AI can be used in the years to come. We have, of course, also discussed top priorities for CFOs in 2024. If you want to learn more about them, feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn. Happy to share our ebook on this topic, which at length discusses how you can address those. But now we are looking forward. So as we start discussing the top trends for 2025, it's important to distinguish between a trend and something that will have a real impact. An example is blockchain. So every year, it's highlighted as a trend that will impact the way we work. But another year has passed without us seeing any noticeable impact on finance and accounting. And I was with a lot of tech-savvy finance people earlier today and tech companies as well. And when I mentioned this, no one disagreed, right? So even though blockchain might be a trend and someone will promote it again for 2025, it doesn't mean it will have a real impact. So let's remember that when we talk about these trends here. The trends that we raise are just as much topics that you should be on the lookout for, as they are something to actively consider for your finance function for next year, maybe, or in the years to come. With that said, I'm curious, Victor, when you look at the finance function in the year that has almost passed now, where do you see we have progressed the most?
Yes. So I think before I start to speak about the finance function, I would to go one step back. So I think due to the crisis that we saw in the last years, is it COVID or is it wars or any delivery problems? I see that finance as a whole topic is important in a whole organization. And my team and me, we see that a lot of trainings, finance training for non-financials is requesting quite a lot. And due to this effects, I see or I feel that finance at all is more important and valuable in the whole organization. And I think this is a quite good thing, so that people starting to make more fact and figure-based decisions. And of course, AI is important. So I see that a lot of companies starting to experiment with it. Some of them are quite progressing. Some of them in the beginning. But I think this both topics, so the reputation of the finance organization and the AI, this is quite a lot in this year.
Absolutely. And we will keep talking about this for years to come, I'm sure. But if we then look at the other ballpark, Victor, and now we haven't listed all the priorities that we talked about for 2024, but I'm sure you can kind of talk into it as well. Which priorities do you think we failed to address adequately here in 2024, and why do you think that is?
In my opinion, it's pretty the same topics. So let me make an example. I think all the things we are doing, is it training or is it artificial intelligence? The question is, do we really do it holistically? So let's make an example, training for non-financials. No? That we are doing this is quite good. But the question is, what will change in the long run? So how will the future collaboration between non-finance finance change? Is this also in this approach? In a lot of cases, I don't see that this is holistically. No? Or another example, the finance reputation is increasing. This is also extremely good. But what is finance doing with it? No? How can finance now increase their value to the organization and implement business partnering or to be strong in the business partnering? No? This is also what I see. It's not thinking to the end. No? And of course, AI, it's the same. So we are experimenting, we are doing something. But also here's the question. I mean, companies are complex organizations. No? This is a complex organism. And if you just jump and change one thing like AI, we are sometimes wondering why we are not improving overall. Sometimes I see that we don't look at our processes, we don't see on the culture, now what happens with our culture, people, new ways of leadership, and all these topics. So I think we fail in quite a lot of cases to do the things holistically.
So essentially, it's the difference between, creating a short-term change boost versus creating long-term sustainable change, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I guess the old adage of sort of overestimating change in the short term and undervaluing in long term also plays in here. If we go 10, 20 years back, things were different in finance, but maybe not as different as we predicted back then, right? So we definitely had to keep that in mind. And I think with AI now being one of the key topics, we can easily imagine how it can reshape finance and other bits in the world, but how fast will it actually happen? I think that's kind of where the jury's out. But thanks for those insights so far, Victor. We'll get back to you in just a little bit. I'll just tune in again here to the audience. We have Muayat from Oman tuning in, Eric from Kenya. Then we have Farid from Azerbaijan, Aubrey from Philippines, Ulamwanya from Nigeria, someone from Texas, Canada again here, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Indonesia. I mean, this is just amazing. And then we have someone saying, and I can't see the name here. We have to address the technology of this part. It's not the user's fault. It says, since you mentioned blockchain, will it be applicable to every industry or sector, or is it most probably deployable in specific or certain sectors? I think today it's most relevant in the financial services sector, where, of course, you have all the cryptocurrencies, just to mention one simple thing, which, of course, is in that sector. But I used to work in transportation, and there we also launched a larger blockchain-based initiative where all the shipping documentation, for instance, should be on the blockchain. I don't think it really took off, but I think it can be applicable to many sectors and also professions like finance and accounting. But it's just imagining the impact, it's not seeing the real impact. So, that's why I'm a bit skeptical if it will ever happen. But I think that's a great question. Thanks a lot for bringing that up. Okay, but let's try to dig into the top trends. And if you disagree that these are the top trend, feel free to put your top trend in the comment as well. We're happy to discuss alternatives. So this brings us to the top trends for finance and accounting in 2025. There are, of course, many to consider, but we have chosen a smaller pick to help CFOs and senior finance leaders focus their efforts. So these are our top 5 trends: AI-driven strategic finance, circular economy accounting, hyper-personalized financial management tools, real-time ESG auditing and insurance services, and strategic business partner. So let's just take a moment to review each of these. And we will, in the coming 5 weeks, review each of these in further detail. So, don't despair. So, AI-driven strategic finance. So, AI, of course, has been used for automation and basic analysis in recent years. But the trend is shifting towards AI being more a strategic advisor, or at least just being an advisor. So, with generative AI, you can query everything across your ERP system, probably across your planning system as well, and get quick insights and also start tasks and everything else. So there's a lot there that you can actually do to be supported. And finance teams will increasingly leverage AI for automation and strategic tasks like scenario planning, risk management, and decision-making support. Then we have circular economy accounting. So as sustainability becomes a non-negotiable business imperative, finance teams increasingly need to account for circular economy models. This includes tracking carbon credits, measuring the financial impact of recycling efforts, integrating sustainability metrics into financial KPIs, and so on and so on. Of course, here in 2024, it's been a lot about ESG reporting. The CSRD, for instance, is a big one here in Europe. You may have other local sustainability directives that you need to report on, but this is a major thing, at least for finance teams in Europe. Then we have the hyper-personalized financial management tools. So we believe there will be a surge in the availability and use of hyper-personalized financial management platforms tailored to small and medium-sized enterprises. These tools leverage AI and machine learning to offer bespoke financial planning, budgeting, and cash flow management solutions. So it's a bit like ERPs in the past, right? So they were kind of reserved for the big companies. Then came cloud and SaaS and everything else, and now everyone can get in the ERP system. This will also happen for financial management tools as well. And there is a flurry of tools already in the market and on its way to the market in this space here. So if you don't have one for your company, you should definitely consider getting one. Then there's the real-time ESG, auditing, and assurance services. So with the regulatory pressure intensifying, there'll be a move towards real-time auditing and insurance for ESG factors using advanced monitoring tools and IoT data streams. This approach aims to verify and validate ESG compliance beyond annual reporting cycles in a continuous fashion. And I'll get back to this just a little bit before we get back to Victor. And finally, strategic business partnering. You could argue that this is a biased pick. It was even Victor picking it, so it wasn't me. But of course, I completely agree with Victor on this one. As finance becomes increasingly complex, roles in finance teams must evolve with a stronger emphasis on specialization. This shift also intensifies the need for effective business partnering within finance. Finance professionals are not only required to have technical expertise, but must also act as strategic advisors. I think we have previously shown this staircase of tasks: operational, tactical, strategic. Most finance teams still lack work in the strategic domain. So a lot can happen there, but I definitely believe that in 2025, we will continue this movement and hopefully make it a strong one. So you may think that these are buzzwords, but I would like to highlight circular economy accounting and real-time ESG auditing as 2 examples. So, I work with different kind of ERP providers, and I've seen firsthand from one of them that this is already integrated into the system. It will start with carbon accounting, but many other metrics will follow. So it'll be very easy for auditors to audit whenever they want, or other regulatory bodies, or even inside the company, you can definitely start using this data in a much faster fashion. Moreover, ESG reporting will become like regular financial reporting with all the same desired functionalities. So this is not something that is on the roadmap or we think will come. It is happening, and it's coming to an ERP system near you. All right, that was talking through the trends, Victor. But which of these do you think will be most transformative for finance?
So I am pretty sure that AI will dominate the finance for the next year, and it will have a huge impact in all different areas. And I think it will also have a huge impact on the other trends that you mentioned. So around AI will be a huge boost, I think. And I think this is because of, it's not just because it's important, but I think people want to do it because if they have the feeling they miss something if they then don't do it. So everybody is trying to do something, and I think that could be a reason that will be the most effective trend.
Absolutely, I think this is gonna transform everything. So let's see how fast it will happen. But then maybe a different angle on the question. So which trend do you think will actually progress the most on in 2025?
I think it could be also AI, but I have at the same time the fear that that we will maybe fail because if we don't have a clear roadmap, what should we do in finance and in the whole organization with artificial intelligence? If we don't have a clear, let's say, a vision and a target and a roadmap, how we change our way of working, then in the worst case, there are maybe just few people in the organization who are working with finance because they do it privately, like I do. But I fear that we will maybe in some organization not have a huge boost because it's not, there's no roadmap. No, this is maybe could be the biggest mistake. No.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of add on that, Victor, because of course, we've seen digitalization as let's say, a buzzword before
Yeah.
AI, and companies were kind of having digitalization strategies and whatnot. But digital is not a strategy. Digital is a means to an end, right? So
Yeah.
what are you going to use it for? And it's the same with AI. Should you have an AI strategy? No, I believe not. You should have a strategy for something you want to achieve, and then a roadmap for how AI can enable it, right?
Yeah.
So if you see companies having AI strategies out there, you may want to think twice if they're down the right path. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So thanks a lot for sharing that, Victor.
Yeah.
And I can see in the feed we have quite a lot of questions, maybe just from one user around the blockchain part. Please send me a message on LinkedIn. I'm happy to elaborate on that. Otherwise, we could spend the whole show talking about blockchain, which is not even one of our trends. So don't want to do that. Then we have Ahmed here from Pakistan. He says, please mention the role of AI in accounting and finance and best AI tools for an accountant. I don't know, Victor, do you want to share your thoughts on that, where AI can help in accounting?
I think it's not pretty new. It's RPA, so robotics. No? So in my previous company, we had it already 10 years ago. But when I'm looking now to companies, there's still a lot of manual work and a lot of manual, also mistakes then that have to be corrected manually. And at the same time, we cannot find enough educated people. So I think the easiest way is to start with automation. So robotics to make the processes we are doing the whole day that is, let's say, pretty the same, that we automate this.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? RPA, OCR, optical character recognition, and then machine learning to kind of take the next step there. You should be able to get to close to 100% automation in at least the transactional part of accounting, or what we'll call finance operation, except there should be some sort of human oversight, and also maybe let's call it process experts that can either change the processes as the business change or implement new rules and regulations. So we won't get 100% human-less in accounting, but definitely automation should go a long way. So thanks a lot, Armand, for that question there. And we have more people continuing to tune in here from Sierra Leone and Saudi as well. So Lebanon is also here. I hope you're safe down there, and more people tuning in. So that's just great. Let's just continue a little bit, and then we'll get back to Victor for some of his great insights. So natural question: what should you do now? Maybe the easiest answer would be nothing. These are trends for 2025, and we're not in 2025 yet, right? But these are trends to watch and consider how to position yourself for. So the better answer is to understand how you can get ahead of these trends. Depending on whether you work with processes impacted by AI or ESG initiatives, or you're in business partnering, you should start to position yourself. Or if you already have positioned yourself, just sprint ahead. These are things that we cannot ignore. Don't wait for change to come to you, but grab the bull by its horns, I think we can say also in English, and be a winner in 2025. As I mentioned, in the coming weeks, we will share practical, actionable tips that you can use to leverage to get ahead. So, there's going to be much more help coming in. And just before we go back to Victor, here's just some questions for you to consider. How much have you progressed on your priorities in 2024 in your finance function? And what do you think about the top trends for 2025? Do they make sense, or do you see other trends? Please put them in the comments. And if you are watching this back on YouTube, remember to subscribe as well. We definitely appreciate that. We are going towards 2,000 subscribers over there. So always great to have more people involved. But back to you, Victor. What advice would you give to finance and accounting professionals on dealing with the highlighted trends here?
I think it doesn't matter where the starting point is. Now, if you are still working with Excel and you want to be, let's say, more digital, or maybe you use already a lot of digital tools like RPA and you want to be more, let's say, artificial intelligence driven, I think you should not just jump blind in the project. So what I see is in, let's say, 70% of our projects where we came to the companies, they have failed projects because they just jumped in a topic and they do something and it was not thinking to the end. So I think the finance community should do it like all, let's say, famous and successful people or organization. So we should create a target picture, so where we want to be in the next 3 or 5 years, and then we should make a plan how to reach this target, and then start doing. And take the people with the change. Take the people with the transformation. I think this is the most important, independent. Where are you starting and what your goal is?
Yeah, I think it's back to my old saying that at the end of any change you want to achieve, there's a human being doing something different, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't bring the people along the journey, then it's not going to be any good. And maybe you have already answered it, Victor, but what do you think is the biggest obstacle for starting to address these changes, to these trends here?
I think the biggest obstacle is that we lose our people. So if we don't change the mindset of the people, so like you said, Anders, AI is not a strategy. So it's a tool, but this tool have to be used from the people. So change the mindset of the people, and they will ask for these tools, not just do it and take it on the desktop and then use it. So create a demand for the on the people, and then they will ask for this. So the obstacle is lose the people on the way. So, but I think we can manage it. So it's just a question of our mindset of the leaders of the finance organization, and then we could be very successful.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. It's back to a poll I ran some years back, where I asked, so what's the biggest obstacle for us to create the future of finance? We can always discuss what that is. Is it, people not having the skills? Is it processes that are not there? Is it technology that we don't have? Or is it our mindset? And when I made the poll, I was definitely thinking people are going to say technology and process because it was external from themselves. So it was an easy excuse. But out of close to 1,500 voters, 62% said the mindset.
Yeah.
So we know that's where it starts. It's just really, really hard. And maybe then back to you, Victor, because I know that you and Eva, who you also work with, you work a lot in this. What does it take to kind of change this mindset? Even if you're willing and able to do it, it's still hard. So do you have any tips on how to do that so we can actually capture these trends here?
I mean, there's not an easy way, no? And um, all organizations are different, so it depends. Are the organization are used to change regularly or not, no? And I think one of the most important topics is the leadership, the top management have to live it, no? So if you are speaking about digitalization and your desk is full of paper, then it's not really digitalization. Huh? So if you are asking for database decisions and you decide just like you want, this is not what this is what the people see and feel, and then they believe you, and then they believe you not. Huh? So starting from the leadership, changing mindset of the leadership, I think this is the most important topic.
Yeah, change starts at the top. I think that's some solid advice as well, Victor. We have a few questions around the recommendations for AI tools for companies. I don't think Victor and I are necessarily the most qualified people to speak about that, but we will try to address it, or at least I will try to address it in one of the upcoming articles when we talk about hyper-personalized tools for SMEs. Then we have another question here from Sayed. I believe he says, "Is AI or IoT disrupting the overall business as to invade their current existing process and same time enforcing to shift or transform?" I think, it's almost a bit like the internet, back in the days where, it wasn't necessarily that it created uh, new uh, new needs for services as such, but a lot of services then came online, right? And of course, that transformed the business model in itself. And AI and IoT and so on can do that as well. AI can process data in ways that humans cannot, and IoT can collect data in ways that humans cannot. So combining these things, I'm sure you can do a lot, right? But it's probably easy to imagine and maybe a bit harder to do in reality. Then we have one final question here. Then I think we're going to close down today's show. It says, "How can AI-driven tools enhance strategic financial planning and decision making in areas like budgeting, forecasting, and risk management? And what are some potential challenges in integrating these tools in traditional finance function?" You want to give a crack at this, Victor, as the final question of today?
Um, I think what we saw last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, from Nicolas Boucher, I think he already explained or showed to us that with quite easy tools like ChatGPT or the other tools, we can already leverage our decisions. No? So we can create additional ideas how to create our progress, what kind of scenarios we should consider. So I think the easiest way is just start to do anything, and then it leads one point to another.
100%. I think, advanced financial forecasting is where you should start because it's faster and it's more accurate. It of course takes some typically 6 quarters to develop a model that's that accurate. But
Mhm.
but I think that's really the, I'm not saying simplest place to start, but it's definitely a good place to start, and then you can build on top of that. Again, we're not the technical experts here, but it's definitely doable. And if you want to learn more about it, reach out. I'm sure we can connect you to the right people there. Oh wow, that was half an hour and a little bit, Victor. Time just flew by. We had so many great questions from the audience again today. Do you have any final thoughts or pieces of advice that you want to share with the audience before we close down the show?
I think just repeat maybe in one sentence. No? So all transformation, all following the trends that we wanna and have to do. Um, think twice and make a plan. What do you want to do with this? Now, what is your plan? And then start to do it. Not just jumping in any trend, and then you fail and you are frustrated. Your people are frustrated, and I think to think holistically it helps.
So plan before you start. I think that
Yeah.
could be a be a simple way to say it. Victor, thanks a lot for your great insights today. It's been wonderful having you on the show and giving it a dynamic feeling here, and always great to hear from other people as well. Thanks a lot to the audience today, asking great questions. And as usual, we had from I think Malaysia to Texas, so and Philippines we also had there. So great to see the whole world represented as usual. You are the ones also making this show special. We will be back next week talking about AI-driven strategic finance, the first of the 5 trends. So hope to see you there again. And in the meantime, you can always find both me and Victor, of course, on LinkedIn. So feel free to reach out. We're always there to help. So bye for
Thanks a
now.
lot. Bye.